Welcome Binge Watchers, where we talk about the stories and characters we love and the shows they live in. My name is Ron, and let's talk about the Netflix original, Dear White People. Dear White People is based on the movie of the same name and tells the story of a group of college students at Winchester College. Recently, one of the fraternities threw a blackface party which stirred up a lot of racial tensions because it was, well, incredibly racist. Pretty much every episode focuses on one character and shows their perspective, either on the events that led up to the blackface party and what happened after, or some other major event in the story. I thought this was really clever storytelling. Often when shows try to do this, it just feels like they're telling the same story over and over again, but here it doesn't. They do a really good job at making each episode feel like either a progression of the same story or just a completely separate thing that somehow complements the story. This is obviously a very divisive show, but probably more so for people who haven't actually watched it. I mean, of course, some people will go out of their way to be offended, and some people are just flat out racist. If you're the type of person who called Sense8 SJW leftist propaganda just because it had gay or trans characters in it and it hurt your delicate, narrow-minded sensibilities, then yeah, this show is probably not for you. You know what? This show is exactly for you. Of course, this can also go the other way. There are plenty of people who will say, if you don't like this show, you're immediately racist, which you might not be. Maybe you just didn't like the show because people don't like stuff sometimes. The #1 most disliked video on this channel is the review I did for The Get Down, a show that I didn't love, didn't hate. I thought it was fine, but I wasn't a big fan. Most of the comments on that video are people calling me racist. It's okay to not like stuff, just think about why. If you don't like a show because it has more black characters than white ones, or just because they say something that makes you a little bit uncomfortable, maybe that deserves some more thought. Anyway, Dear White People is a very different show than what the marketing made it out to be. It was intentional, of course, it was clickbait, and it's fine. It got people watching the show. But while this show does handle institutional racism and privilege, it also spends a lot of time talking about issues within the black community and just generally telling an interesting story about interesting characters. This show is funny, it's fast-paced, it's clever, and it does talk about things that people should be talking about. Each character in this show represents a different perspective on the issues the show talks about. It's not anti-white, it's not anti-black, or it's not anti-anything. It's a thoughtful discussion wrapped up in a show that's really fun to watch. I've seen a lot of reactions to this show that start with the phrase, "I'm not racist, but," and then it goes on to say how this show is actually racist and offensive, which it really isn't. I think that real systemic institutional racism is so rarely, if ever, directed at white people that we're not used to hearing anything that can even be remotely interpreted as racist. So then some people hear things like some of the things that are being said on this show, and they instinctively think, wait, hold on a second, why is it okay for them to say it, but it's not okay for me to say it, and if I say it, I'm racist? Fuck, I've caught myself thinking that in the past. But we need to remember that things are not said in a vacuum. Existence didn't start when someone said the thing that you didn't like. There are hundreds of years of history that put the things that people say in context. I'm not saying that it's okay for anyone to be racist or guided by stereotypes. I'm just saying that, yes, there are certain things that it's fine when some people say them and not fine when other people say them. When people ask, why is it okay for you to say the N-word but not okay for me? You know why, come on, it's not like that word was invented yesterday and doesn't have any historical weight. It does, and you know it, and you're just plain dumb, and stop. If you do want a really bad and ignorant and condescending example of trying to show a different perspective, watch that cringy MTV video, Dear White Guys. If you want a thoughtful, fun, and interesting story that reflects reality, watch Dear White People. Bottom line, should you watch it? I think you should. I think that regardless of the important subject matter, this is a good show and it's a really quick watch. It's 10 episodes, 20 to 30 minutes each. The characters are all fleshed out and fun and interesting to learn about. It's not a laugh out loud, funny kind of show, but it is definitely a lot of fun. And yes, it is an important show talking about important stuff. We need to get to a place where a show that has a majority of black characters is not that black show, it's just a show. Let me know your thoughts about Dear White People, the show or the movie, in the comments. And if you feel the need to write that all of this is just some SJW bullshit like many people have done on my Sense8 review, please, instead of that, write about what it is that actually bothers you about the show. And that way, even if we disagree, we can at least have a discussion and understand each other a little bit better. Also, let me know in the comments, which other show do you think does very well at tackling heavy and important issues? If you're going to be talking about spoilers, please use spoiler tags in your comments. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really does help out a lot. And if you're finding binge watchers for the first time, welcome. I'd like to invite you to join the binge watchers community. Come talk about TV with us. It's a lot of fun. Subscribe to the channel. But in any case, keep binging, and I will see you next time.